Hey, it's Dan, and welcome to Unified Gaming. So today guys, we're going to play Trash or Grab, the game where we check the weekly vendors to see are their items worth grabbing, or are they absolute trash. As always with this series, we check every vendor, and their stock does change, so this is recorded on the 19th of July 2025. If you are watching in the future, things will be different. For the vendor herself, she can be found in Cyrodiil. If you are on DC, she's in Northern High Rock Gate. If you're over on AD, she's down in the Western Elsewhere Gate. And if you're on Ebonheart Pat, she's in the Southern Morrowind Gate. We'll go through all of our stocks, talking about the pros and cons for PvP and PvE respectively, and then jump into the Infinite Archive and Scalarium. As always, if you like this series and want to stay up to date, then likes and comments are greatly appreciated. And if you haven't done so, do subscribe so you don't miss out. Got many builds and guides on the way too. And I want to say a massive thanks to all the YouTube and Patreon members who do support the content. If you want to support the content and get access to them early with exclusive builds and guides, there's details down below. This week she's selling a range of jewellery and she's focused on necklaces. The first item is the Connacht's Cruelty set. I've probably butchered that, but essentially when you do direct damage you apply debuffs to the target. This is essentially Daedric Trickery but the offensive version. It's not a bad set. You get Major Breach, Major Cowardice, Major Defile, Major Maim and Major Vulnerability. It's pretty good. The problem is that there's better sets. So on some builds like a dot DK, this is not bad because it's just so many debuffs that it means it's hard for people to cleanse your dots, so this can have some use actually, but I wouldn't rush to buy this in all honesty. You can just get this easy enough from other players, and yeah, it's a fun set, it's not like meta by any means. We then have Bone Pirates. Bone Pirate was a good old staple many years ago. While you have a drink on you, so something like Sugar Skulls wouldn't work, but something like Witch Mother's Potent Broom would work, or Dubious Cameroon Throne. Those were like what people used to use, mainly Cameroon Throne. It will give you more max stamina and stamina recovery. It was really good. And then it added Wretched Vitality, which is just better. You got other better sort of damage sets like Rallying Cry with damage and defense. So this has kind of fallen by the wayside. It is a dungeon set. It's quite easy to get. It's not worth buying nowadays, in all honesty. You then have Leviathan. Leviathan's quite a cool set. It's basically the stamina version of Mother Sorrow. So it's just loads and loads of crit chance. Most people would just run Order's Wrath simply because it's cheaper to get. You can just literally make it. This is really expensive. This is a dungeon set. You have to farm this. Is it really worth the grind? Probably not. So if you're playing PvE, this isn't like terrible. It's pretty decent, but you just better just go with Order's Wrath. You can get it easier, and the power between the two is very similar. So I would say probably skip this unless you're really set on like I want to have really high crit chance, and it's just noting that anything above 60% crit chance in PvE is typically wasted. So again, don't push it any further. You just don't get that much benefit out of it. The final one is Telvar's Metal. So while you have a food buff on you, your core abilities are reduced by 25%. So this is like dodge roll, sprint, block, that kind of stuff. So not your actual skills, just your movement stuff. It's not a good set, is the long and short of it. Just don't buy this. It's really bad. It is a tradable set, so again, you don't even need to go and you buy this when you equip it, so you can just trade this if you really want to get the set, but I wouldn't do this, it's not worth it. We then have a few monster sets this week, and these are helmets. So I always recommend that shoulders are generally better because you don't have to do the Undaunted keys, but helmets are still worth considering, and these are some DLC ones, so there's a bit of niceness there. The first one is Enkrat's Behemoth set. It's a set that gives you more fire damage, and you also take less damage. So when you do damage with fire, you put an aura around you, and anybody in the aura that's on your team gets 5% fire damage reduction, which is awesome, so they take less damage, and they also do 5% more fire damage. So what this means is that people who run the set on a tank can end up increasing the group's DPS, because lots of people use it like Burning Wall, so Wall of Fire. Some people use Wall of Storms. So this can have some good use in PvE. It is not a PvP set. So for that reason alone, I'll just skip this for PvP. If you're PvE and you haven't done dungeon, it might be worth buying. It's a DLC set, so if you don't have ESO Plus, again, maybe consider this. I'm personally going to buy it. I don't have this. I don't think I'm going to use it in all honesty, but I'd rather just have it in the sticker book just in case. We then have Symphony of Blades. So this is a bit of a healing set. So when you heal a group member who's under 50% of their main resource, so it could be magicka or stamina, you grant them Meridia's Favour, which restores magicka or stamina every 1 second. It is a lot of recovery. This is a fantastic healer set. So if you're a support and you're just helping people in PvE, this is really, really, really good. And not only that, it's got a cooldown per target, which means you can put this on somebody and it will give them so much sustain. You could also use this in PvP as well. It's not used massively in PvP in all honesty, but this is quite a good set. And again, it's a DLC set, so it is really worth considering. If you're going to play as a healer, I would buy this. This is quite a fun set to use. And again, I have all of this, but if you, again, don't, even just the sticker book as a DLC set, maybe consider it at least. But that's the golden vendor this week. She sells a few things that are kind of okay. They're not super, super good. Mainly PvE, like a really good PvE monster set for the Symphony of Blades. That's quite good. And also the fire one's pretty decent. I wouldn't rush to get the fire one, but it's not a bad one. We're going to hop on over to Apocrypha and into the Infinite Archive. And here we then look at Firelord All, who's a vendor that sells a range of leads and scripts to see are they worth getting or not, because some of those leads are quite difficult to farm. Once you get inside, you do need to have your own currency from here, so archive your fortunes, and you want to go as far east as possible. The vendor's tucked away over here, and he has a stock that changes from Tuesday to Tuesday, but we do this every Saturday. This week, he is selling the following stuff. A lead for the Monomyth Reforged Mythic, and also for just furnishing. I would personally skip these. The Monomyth is fantastic. I do use this. This is a really, really, really good mythic for PvP, like fantastic. In my opinion, like one of the best PvP mythics. The problem is this is really easy to get. I got the entire mythic done in about 40 minutes from start to finish, finding all the leads and digging it up. It is very, very easy to get, so don't waste your money. This is, you can buy some item pieces which are more useful. You then have obviously the Priotheric Mask. I don't buy cosmetics personally, but that's up to you if you want. And then for the scripts, we have Defile, Frost, and Potency. The only one I'd really suggest getting is the Frost damage. That is quite good, in all honesty. If we look at our Superstar, this is the 1 bar salt. If people's, so this is my 2 bar salt, sorry, and this is just what I'm doing for my crafter. But if you go into the Scribing Simulator, you can see that Frost can be put on lots of things. You can put on Spammable, which is really, really good. You're going to have a Frost Spammable you can put on Contingency to have a Frost AoE, Delayed Burst skill, which is great. On Willed Soul, you can got it there on Soul Burst. You've got it down here. So you've got AoE Spammable, Delayed Frost, Spammable Frost, Elemental Explosion, you've got Frost on this. So you've got lots of uses for this. And what's really nice is this will proc Winterborn, which means you can use a Lightning Staff and still proc Winterborn, which that will get boosted by the Lightning Staff. So this is really worth getting. It's quite expensive, but I would probably buy this myself. We're then going to hop on over to the Scalarium. This is an Nevaeh. This is now part of the base game, so if you haven't got this already, do hop into the Crown Store. You can get this for free, and I would really recommend doing so. I personally like the storyline. I think the stories were quite cool. I quite like the lore and the kind of sort of more theoretical and sort of debates that they kind of pose, really. But the main reason I do it is obviously for the system itself, so I would really suggest doing this. If you're unsure, you can go into the Crown Store, and then over in the upgrades, you can find it's Scribing, and it's free here, so you can get this here, which is awesome. Okay? You can also get in the quest starters as well. But this is free now, so do get this, because you might not get this again. Once you get here, you want to make sure that this Indrik is done. It will glow blue on your main character. Once it's done, you get an achievement, and then the vendor will appear. The vendor will then appear down here in the far, far east, and he is called Fernando. Fernando sells a range of different things. These Grimoires are always here, so just ignore these, but these scripts do change week on week. The only one that does stay is obviously the class Mastery. So he has Expedition, Bleed, and Immobilize. In my opinion, I don't think these are really worth buying. The only one you may want to get is Immobilize, because you can make Immobilize AoE. So you could use something like Soul Burst, Immobilize, and you can have an almost like a chain, Talons kind of thing, like a DK, but on any class. So that is an option there. You could put on elemental explosion and then put something like shock damage, and then you put like mobility strike, but unfortunately it doesn't apply to it. So it's signature script, and that's the issue, that you find that this works where you want, but not all the time. So for example, it'll work here, which is fantastic, but when you actually go to your soul burst, this is actually a focus script, and I've been caught up by this a few times. So you can see it's very easy to mix this up. This is the signature one, and it's just really worth just checking it here, because it's not what you think. So you might be rushing and go, yes, it's really worth getting. It's not terrible, but it's not great. My suggestion, as always, is if you don't have these, you can buy them on a character that doesn't know it and put them in the bank, as you can see I've done up here. And then that way you can just put them on characters that you do need. I normally buy 5 or 6, because you never know, they might get changed, especially the damage ones are really good if they add new sets. The final place we check as part of the sort of review is to look at the Telvar vendor and to see, are there any items worth grabbing there. I will stress though that the Telvar vendor is incredibly expensive, like almost prohibitive. It is so expensive, but they do sell leads, and some of the leads in the past have been fantastic. So we're over here, I've got 100k Telvar on me. I would never suggest carrying this much around you unless you're in the sewers to buy stuff, so just be careful. But you're looking for the vendor that's called the Telvar Merchant. On DZ it's this vendor here, and she sells essentially a range of different things here and some leads. So you have Coward's Gear and Elfbane. Elfbane used to be fantastic. It used to work with Siege, which was even more stupid, so this was really fun. It's pretty terrible. And in all honesty, you can buy these from other players for less money, so just don't buy the jewelry here ever. It's just never worth it. You then have the Crimson Diamond for the Belhazar's band. It's basically a light attack set that's melee. So you have to do melee martial damage with light attacks to them do this. It charges up, it does a bit of damage. It's not terrible, it's not awful, it's okay. You could use this on a werewolf. I personally think talks better is what I use, but yeah. You then have Ring of the Pale Order, and again, this is a really good mythic. The issue is this is 25,000 Telvar. This is harder to get in my opinion. I'd rather just farm this lead. It's not a terrible lead to farm, but you know, you might want to save yourself a bit of time. The ones I normally buy are the ones like Dragonstar Arena lead for the Death Dealer's Feet. That was up here a few weeks ago. This was really good, but for this one, I don't think it's worth getting. Then script-wise, these are very expensive again, but they're always worth checking out. You've got Cowardice, which isn't worth it. Intellect Endurance, this is pretty good. You can get this like normally. I would say when the week comes up with like the Scalarium, just buy tons of these, which I did. This is used a lot on my builds, so this is a very, very good script. So if you are after this, it is going to be expensive, but it is very good. Knockbacks not needed. Growing impacts, bit miff. Like it's just mid. So yeah. But that is the week, guys. That's what they're selling. They've got a range of different stuff. Some okay stuff, but most of it's a bit mid. If you like the series and you want to stay up to date with this, then you know what to do. Likes, comments, and subscribing. And if you want to support the channel, there's obviously a YouTube and Discord memberships. Details down below. And I'm just going to say that I will be on YouTube live at 9 PM UK time, where I'll be showing some more 1-bar builds I've been working on. So just a quick apologies for a delay in the content. I've just been busy farming PvE sets. It does take some time, but I'll catch you next video stream. So thanks for watching, guys. Take care and bye.